And now it only remains for me to introduce our next presenter, Alex Caldiero. It's difficult to introduce Alex Caldiero. He's a poet and an artist and a performer of considerable renown. We're so lucky to have him here at UVU as part of our Humanities program. Indeed, he is senior artist in residence here. He's a teacher, he's a polyartist, he's a sonosopher, he's a scholar. He is my friend, and his presentation is called Subversive Language, a Performative Lecture. Alex.
Thank you, Kim, and thank you, Wendell. I'm glad to be here this morning, and thank you all for attending. I was going to speak on subversive language, and but a fuller title would be subversive language versus viral language. These days we've been hearing a lot about viruses, and especially of the viral sort that we all are very familiar with. I just want to read very simply viral, two definitions. And in my mind, these two definitions sort of meld together into one. The first one, this is as an adjective, of the nature of caused by or relating to a virus or viruses, such as a severe viral infection. 2, relating to or involving an image, video, piece of information, etc., that is circulated rapidly and widely from one internet user to another, such as a viral video or ad. The phrase, if a video, image, or story goes viral, it spreads quickly and widely on the internet through social media and email. I think we know what that's about. Today I want to discuss antidotes to this, because the last thing I want is to go viral, which seems to be the first thing that everybody wants, to go viral. So please keep that in mind as we proceed with this, is it a lecture? Yeah. I don't even have a lectern. Well, then it's not strictly a lecture, but it's more like a micture. I'm going to quote from Saint William Burroughs, and I don't know whether you're familiar with him or his church. Look that up in your Funkin' Wagner, or as we say today, Google that. Remember, Funkin' Wagner in the 70s was the ultimate encyclopedia where you could look up anything. And so the phrase made famous by, see, this is going viral, It's been going viral for 50 years. You know, look that up in your Funkin' Wagner. Or Google it. Saint William Burroughs. A virus is an infectious agent that can only replicate within a host organism. Viruses can infect a variety of living organisms, including bacteria, plants, and animals, and I want to add minds, emotions, thoughts. Viruses are a small microscope is necessary to visualize them. I'm hoping today to magnify them so that you can see for yourself. But I'm going to produce the antidote because I really don't want to infect anybody else or for the infection to go further. Here it is. William S. Burroughs proposes the theory of the unrecognized virus. The unrecognized virus, which is probably the most dangerous virus of all. Or as the poet Hölderlin said, language, the most dangerous possession. And so, language, he suggests that the word has not been recognized as a virus because it has achieved a state of stable symbiosis with the host. The host, in this case, is our culture, okay? And when we talk about language, again, going back to what I said before, we're talking about visual language, we're talking about spoken language, we're talking about communication, right? Not simply just spoken language. Images, the language of images. In olden days, there was even the language of the birds, which we no longer understand or even care to learn. The language of flowers, which now has passed into silence, so that most of the time we go through a field and don't hear a thing. But on the internet and social media, which, by the way, is a misnomer, there's nothing social about that media. And if you think it's social media, you've never been in a society. A society, a traditional society where everyone can speak to each other. Actually, this room right now is about as close as we can get, hopefully, until maybe the corporations take completely control over this, and then we won't even have this refuge to go to and to listen to each other. So I said the antidote. Actually, it's antidotes. And the antidotes is transgressive language. That's the antidote to viral language. Subversive, transgressive language. An antidote to habits of behavior, patterns of attitudes, duplications, replications, simulations, and rather than that, to promote reiteration, creation, and experimentation. That's what we want to do. That's what we need a cure. If we're cured, we're going to be creative, we're going to experiment, and we're going to reiterate. Not simply duplicate, but reiterate each time, going deeper into what we're saying. Reiterate until we enter the very, very center of sound and language, where nothing is viral. As a matter of fact, heaven is that. Heaven, paradise. No infections in paradise, only affections in paradise, only inflections in paradise, reiterations, always enlarging, always going deeper, always opening, ever blooming, ever blossoming. That's paradise. Dante pictured it as a flower that just opens and opens and opens and opens. That's where he finally met Beatrice, the giver of blessings, the giver of grace. And it is by grace that we attain that state. By grace. And it is by grace that I offer you a series of antidotes. Beautiful, idyllic, isn't it? Beautiful, idyllic, isn't it? Beautiful, idyllic, isn't it? Beautiful, idyllic, isn't it? Beautiful, idyllic. Isn't it? Meow, said my cat as we sat together in the living room. Meow. It was pronounced in such lucid tones, it was an utterance. Ya, where yim water womb. Oh my, I'm more. Yim Ashma Ishalul Waiminj. If thou will go to the left, then I will go to the right. Genesis 13:9-3. Meow, said my cat as we sat together in the living room. Tom, Mother, last night, freedom, non-aspect of in this stone, sperm worm, cage belt, time before, manipulate, will not see and become total, titbit, night, reptile, crawlers, come into bed, sleep and sheep and ass and tongue, prick, skin, avoid the messages, confront me in the night, shadows, not come clean what I am about. And you are my tormentors. What I cannot recall, but a glimpse of their faces, but the tip of their noses, mound and arrives, blackout. Sex has got something to do with it. What the hell have you uncovered? I can't see the face. Come face. Come face. Come face. Feces and shite it for my mind. I don't know anymore. Together, I can't see the features of the face, and I can't see the future of my face. And mother, 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 mother hat mer, me von the chinny friar, om the tom hette the moi, moite vigim, joppen i Jeromer, treoden sier theor me, etereo pricken, repetuduk, ausen le fruity, Jus an clammy vlusion dun, de fur, and right away you ours not to see, never bouten je dourf, vegen Jacques la lac de que chan jo foyen every boot, tayon toriut, royon yur, remaroyer, namaroyer. Empty your heart. V. Stop. B. G. T. V. T. V. To give. Up is io stois. Tig. 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 Tip. Ut. Tis. Often, I sense a bigger breathing my breath, taking it in into itself, letting it out, forcing my breath to breathe and come and go without leaving until it says so, and then breathing out or in is an act of death or birth, which are transitions of breath from one set of lungs into another. I am not afraid to breathe out or in without taking another breath. So I'm looking at her, and before I know it, her face is turning red. Not red, but reddish. It's the Red Rock Desert, I say out loud, because I'm so moved I have to speak about how beautiful the Red Desert is. That is, that red desert in her face, and then all over her body. The heat and the sun come on strong, as if to destroy, and I can't stop looking. Then I'm staring. I apologize for gawking. It's just that it's right in front of me, glowing in her eyes, and then spreading immediately around her body about 12 inches high. Red light. She says the desert is one of the few places where she is at home. And I see her hands, that they've held red rock so tight for dear life. Hands as red as the desert. As you finger your hand, as you handle the pen, as you pen your name, as you name your poison, as you poison your mind, as you mind your thought, as you thought you would. I touch the earth because there are so many things I cannot see. In my mind, I'm in my mind. I mind my mind. Don't mind my mind. Mine in mind. My mind is mine. My mind, mine's my mind. Man's mind is mine. Woman's mind is mine. My man's mind, mine's my woman's mind. She minds my mind in kind. Don't mind mine. I don't mind. Mine is mine. I mind mine. Never mind. Somewhere or other, 3 low, way up, right over in, and hold on this artifice, my many-old child, pledging Ephraim, in this Theron Brine crown round, Frode me, old friend, my old me, and a vai, no vai, the moon, either my, I know, 80, and I, more stars, in home tinkling, household in mind, our lesson fani create omo kaine imi sowazi in I fried in wood woolen I moyo Thank you for your kind attention. And now to release the tension a little bit, I think we have a little time to speak to each other. So if you have any questions or comments, this would be a good time. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. That was fantastic. Questions, you guys? I'd like to hear from you.
Really great work, by the way. I was wondering what got you interested in language and poetry writing in general.
What got me interested
Sure.
in language and poetry? I mean, interested means what? Like you mean when I started doing this? Or
Sure.
when I became aware of this?
Yeah, sure. When you became aware.
I think I was 7 years old, and I was in love with a girl down the road a piece. And so, yes, 7 years old, I was in love. Her name was Carmela, and she was beautiful. And so I was talking to my buddies about her, and I said, you know, I really don't know what to do about this love that I'm feeling. And so one of them suggested that we go serenade her. Yeah, where I come from, we serenade. So I said, what a wonderful idea. And so I and 2 or 3 friends got together, and must have been after dark, way after dark. And I stood beneath her window, and I serenaded her. And I think the words were, Carmela una bambola. That's all I remember. Carmela is a doll. And I can't remember anything else, except that her father opened the window. Seriously, he didn't say anything bad. He was just so moved by the whole scene that he said, on behalf of my daughter, thank you. Now please go to bed. And so we did. And about 30 years later, I met her in New York. They had come over, as we did, fellow immigrants, and I saw her at a party, and I recognized her immediately. And to myself, you know, we were strangers to each other. It was weird. We were strangers. Somebody that I felt so deeply about, I don't think she even recognized me. But I recognized her because I've been writing poetry ever since.
Where do you come from originally?
I am a Mediterranean islander from the Big Island, as we say. We islanders, you know, we have the Big Island, Hawaii, right? Well, in the Mediterranean, well, you know what happened was I hate to fill out forms. So, nationality. How I hate that question. What's your nationality? So I look around and Hispanic? No, although I could pass for one. Black? No, although under the certain conditions I could pass for one. Caucasian? No, I don't think so. So what am I? And then I saw Pacific Islander. Pacific Islander. And I said, wait a minute. I'm an islander. These guys from the Pacific with volcanoes, Big Island, that sounds like home to me. I'm a Mediterranean islander. So I drew a box and I put Mediterranean islander and I checked it off. And for the first time, it felt good, you know, to check off a box and identify myself. Yeah. The Big Island. The Big Island, shaped like a triangle. An incredible mixture of Arabic. It's in 3 continents. We never say south of Italy. A true islander will always say north of Africa. Africa is about an hour away, south. So we have Africa, we have Europe, and we have the Middle East. Our language is a beautiful mixture of Arabic, Latin, Greek. I'm talking about Sicily. Sicily. Yeah. I was born in a little town in the mountains that has been continuously inhabited since 600 BC. And you ask me where I'm from. Yes?
Yeah, sorry. What I love about your speech is that you never know when you're done and when you're not. And I feel like there's an endlessness in that I admire and in many ways revere.
Good of you to say that.
Yeah. Well, I've been a fan for 10 years, more than 10 years, 15 years, because my high school teacher showed a video of the Michael Moore controversy in UVU to us as high school students with a scene of you in the hallway, and I'll never forget the scene where you said there's no such thing as an objective picture of reality. That really stuck with me and stayed with me for years. But one of the things that really struck me about what you said today, not really what you said, but how you said it, was the way you implied that the way to get beyond the viral confinement of this world, not only literal virality, but metaphorical and linguistic virality, is to transgress the boundaries that constrain us. And in many ways, that's what you were doing. You were exploring the new possibilities and potentials hidden in language. You were going into an unexplored territory. And I guess I just wanted to ask you, where were you going? What is the country where you were headed? What is the mystery that was hidden in language? What is, if you could go with that, I'd really be quite grateful to hear what you'd have to say.
What is language?
What is language?
Well, you know, another word for language is a tongue. Tongue.
language is a physical. It's part of our bodies. This is just one manifestation of it, but it is it's a physical entity. That's why it's prone and open to infections. It's a living entity. That's why it can become sick. I've never seen the American language be so sick as in the past 40 years, especially 6 or 7 years. It has gotten so infected that I fear for it. Yeah. Hence the antidotes. Yes. By the way, you have to speak up a little bit because my hearing aids disagree with me. They catch transmissions from satellites and planets and they do strange things and I can't stand them, and I put them on and I get feedback, which sometimes is very nice, but sometimes it could be annoying. Yes, Kim.
I'm happy to build on the comment of your of this young man that just spoke. Oh, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, Christian. And what a touching, lovely tribute he paid to you in his comment. And I'm happy to build on what he said. Christian helped me to figure out what I'd been thinking about your performance, the way you framed it within this pandemic reality that we've been living in. We've been living with this virus, and
yeah, it's part of it,
and what the effect that's had on us. And when Christian asked you, what is language, and you responded that language is physical, it helped me to realize it's also spatial. And I was so grateful today, and I kept thinking, because of the way you framed your performance, I kept thinking about how glad I am that I'm here in this space with you, and that we're both breathing the same air, and what an important part of education and poetry and theater and society that is, for us to be breathing the same air.
That's why I was very touched by the fact that this was a zone, spatial, where the infection should be at a minimum, where words are being spoken quasi-intelligently even. Yeah.
Maybe I'm not alone in being afraid that we're in a new reality and that we're never going to go back to another reality. I'm afraid about that. And when you presented your poetry in terms of it being an antidote, that suggests that something is wrong now and that we might be able to return or move forward to a righter place. And I'm not sure we're ever moving back, maybe not moving back, or even moving forward to a place where we'll be in the same space again. I don't know, I'm worried. So I'm not sure if, are you nervous? Do we need to learn how to be poets online? And not in this, do we need to learn to be actors and artists on the internet?
We gotta stop social distancing. We're already distanced enough. We've been practicing social distance for like 80, 90 years at least. Yeah, we have to really, and I'm not talking about being irresponsible, with diseases, right? I'm not talking about that, But, one thing I tell you is that if I feel that I put something on YouTube, for instance, and I always say, God forbid it goes viral, then I would have to shut it down. Now, what's viral? I don't know. 1,000, 2,000. hits, I don't know. But I get worried of the stuff that I see, 10 million, 20 million. And I go, my God, are we sick? We sick. I think that we have to go back to being human beings. That seems like a no-brainer. But we assume that we already are. And that's one of the reasons why we're finding it so difficult to become. You know, I am not a human being. I want to be one. I want to know what it means. I need to become one. You know, I see little kids. I never get tired of looking at 3-year-olds, 2-year-olds, 4-year-olds, my grandkids especially, you know, and I say, wow, those are human beings. You know, I've even heard that the kingdom of heaven is like that. Who was that guy? I think it was a Jewish carpenter. Yeah, and so I think we need to feel words again. Yeah. You know, when I first got laid off and I didn't have my computer, you know, I would touch type on my tongue in order to get back to the tactile. It's a difficult time. That's for sure.
Questions, you guys? Comments?